Hey, homeschool mamas. This is our Thursday homeschool mama Mother's Day tea, and you are welcome to join me. So I have left a teacup on the side of my windowsill with a few little fruit in it, and discovered I have a giant anthill. I've got all sorts of answers, so I won't do that again. So instead, I am bringing a bubbly to have a chat today with the lovely Charlotte. Charlotte is coming all the way from South Africa. And so we're joining today a little earlier so that we can chat before she goes to bed and we start our day on the West Coast. So today I would love to introduce you to Charlotte. We're going to have a good old chat about homeschool moms. So welcome, Charlotte.
Hello. Hi there.
Hey, I have ants crawling all over the side sill here. It was such a
We have
mistake to leave a
ants. I'm
teacup there.
swimming in ants here. Don't worry. We have all the creepy crawlies on the planet.
Oh,
I think they all live in South Africa. I'm sure. Oh my gosh.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
yes.
definitely. That and spiders. I've been on a mission to get rid of spiders, but when to do that? Because I've been doing this family life for 25 years, and my penchant for cleaning stuff has decreased significantly over the years because I notice it keeps
I
happening. I
don't have
keep needing to
the
do
heart.
it.
I don't have the
It's not
heart
very
for the spiders,
gratifying.
to be honest. I'm like, you guys are actually doing something right. You guys are doing a job.
Yes, I totally get that. I am actually okay with that. My son, my 14-year-old,
Mm.
does not ever want to kill them. He's like, let's just bring them outside. Except that now, even on Instagram, if I were to walk around my house, you could see that's how impressive these spiders have become. So that's not why I brought you to have a chat with me. We were going to talk about time management, but tell me a little bit about your day because you're just coming to the end or the close of your day.
Oh, there we go. Take two. I
Hey,
think, yes.
yes,
That was weird.
exactly.
Yes.
So accustomed to this. In the beginning of this online journey,
Mm.
learning how to be online, I was like, I can't do this. There's way too many glitches. Now I'm
Let's
like,
go
okay, we
again.
lost
Let's start
Wi-Fi.
again.
Oh well.
Exactly. And I did hear you said, how
Yeah.
has my day been, right? You did say that. Yeah. Yes,
Yes.
my day
How
was
was
actually
your
fine,
day?
except it's a little bit rainy today, which is not always fun. But yeah, no, I had a good day. Productive, teaching lots of things. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I always see you going over to the
Mm.
lagoon, having a little walk
Mm.
or study, whatever you're
Mm.
doing.
Yeah.
Love it. It actually looks like a location that
Ah,
is about 2 hours from here.
yes.
And yeah, in
Yes.
Canada,
Yeah,
Western Canada. Yeah,
for sure.
a lovely
Oh, God.
use of our time. So,
Mm.
so for those that haven't met you yet, would you share what brought you to homeschooling? I know you're homeschooling
That's
two, would you say
right. Exactly
neurodivergent
that. Yeah.
boys?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, well, I've been homeschooling them since 2017, and that is the reason why we started homeschooling in the beginning, because
Mhm.
they are neurodivergent, and public school just wasn't giving them the learning environment that they needed. So that is why we started. And yeah, public school was quite traumatic for them. So we decided no. I mean, and also you start worrying about your kids, and I don't like it, getting that feeling that maybe there's something wrong with your kids or whatever. So since taking them out, I mean, they've totally thrived. So it's definitely been the best decision we ever made. Yeah.
Beautiful,
Mm.
beautiful. Actually, I put a
Mm.
of Maya Angelou's quote about surviving, no, thriving, not surviving,
Mm.
on my
Mm.
account today. I love that quote. In fact, I love that quote so much I almost used it as part of my book. I as the title of my book, but people said it
Mm-hmm.
was overused, and it is, but it's
Exactly.
cliche for a really good reason. It's sometimes really challenging
For
to
sure.
thrive, especially when we have so much going on. So, one of the things that I have as a discussion with moms
Mm.
is what are your values? And talk about what the values are, whether they actually align
Mm.
with what you're doing
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis. So you've been
Mm-hmm.
homeschooling since 2017. What would you say your values are now, because I'm sure they've evolved and clarified over the years. But what are your values
Well, I think
undergirding your
actually, to be
homeschool?
honest, I never really thought of them really explicitly until maybe a few years ago. Now, I always recommended something that you should really do. You need to write down, you need to be sure what your values are, because you might say you have these particular values,
Yeah.
but then if you don't really know what they are, then it's hard to use them as a metrics within, to make decisions. So mine are definitely ease, definitely. Yes, ease
Like
and
it. Yeah, I
connection. I
like that
think
one.
that's definitely something else. And also, I guess, kind of flexibility too, and freedom. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm on the freedom too.
Yes.
First time I've heard the ease word, but that one probably really ties into the
Sure.
discussion on time management for sure. When I talk about values, or when I'm talking about let's create a vision for how you're going to homeschool, I remember hearing that in my early years at a homeschool conference and thinking, I don't have time for this. And I understand why that instinct is, I don't have time for that. But for me, when we get clear on what the vision and the values are, then we can really become congruent, like ask ourselves, is what we're doing in our day-to-day aligning with those values? Because that congruency, that feeling of, I'm, mostly fully engaging in a way that feels true to what I should be doing. It makes you feel like good enough. It makes you feel at peace or at ease. And so that's why I focus in that direction. So ease and freedom and connection. And what was the other value that you
Flexibility
said?
as well.
Flexibility. Yeah, beautiful. Probably it's not one of my values because I'm really not good at it.
Oh, no, neither was I. I mean, it's something that I've kind of grown into. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I actually, and side note, I appreciate your flexibility today. So what have you learned about your kids
my
this
kids
year?
are, I think, for the most part, autodidactic. And I think I've really just seen what that looks like in a practical way. And I'm just always blown away by all the things that they teach themselves, especially because when they were at school, they're like, oh, they're not reaching this mile, so they can't do this, they can't do this, they can't do this, they can't do this. But there are so many things that they can do, and they will get there in their own time, and they will teach themselves how to do it more likely. Yeah. And I think that's what I've learned. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful place to be, because there is more ease when you see that they're learning.
Exactly. And you don't have to fight. Because the thing is, they do tend towards reluctance. And if you allow them the freedom, if you give them the opportunities to discover the things on their own, I mean, there's no need to fight and cause friction when you learn. It's not conducive to a happy homeschool. Or learning.
Yeah. Or
exactly.
learning.
Or learning.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you been learning about yourself over the last year?
Learned so much. I'm 47 now, and I think I've learned so much in the last 2 or 3 years. It's like my mind is blown by all the things that I've learned. Just kind of being open to learning new things too, I think. And also that it's never too late. I mean, if I thought maybe back when I was 20 what I would be like at 47, I didn't imagine that I would be embarking on all these things.
Me neither. Me out also. I'm putting out a reel for next week that I'm like, I'm just going to gather those photos of me doing this with a screen, like looking into a screen, and they're horrible photos. Okay. Like not one of them is actually worthy of putting on Instagram, but I'm doing it for a reason. And it is because, you know what? I've got a lot of these photos on my phone. And when you're trying to create a connection with people around the world through that little thing, it means you get a lot of those photos on your phone, but also I'm trying to create a connection, which I would happily have just in my own backyard on repetition in my own home, have a cup of tea. We could sit and chat, and how do I help and support and encourage you in your homeschool journey? But this is a really cool way to do it, is through the phone. Like this, you and me, Canada to South Africa, we probably literally have never met if it wasn't for that little phone. Having said that, it's been a learning journey for me just to be comfortable in front of a phone publicly and go, yeah, this is really me. Like weird. It's kind of weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think it's also kind of just getting to the age where you say, oh, I don't think, because I do still worry about what people think. I mean, you know, it's hard to get over that kind of thing. But just like putting myself out there and just learning that it's okay for things not to be perfect. I mean, I think that's a huge lesson, because before, perfectionism was kind of, you know, now we know what it is about. But before, we were like, oh, you know, I'm actually a bit of a perfectionist, like the A-type personality, and, you know, everything's got to be just right. And, you know, when you overcome that eventually, it just opens up so much of the world to you. It really does.
Yeah, it really does. Well, I identify with the journey that you just shared, and it's not that I haven't got any more to address in that. The numbers of people that I engage publicly, I imagine to myself, if I put that into like a conference center or something like that, I would go, oh my goodness, like this is a lot of people. And yet somehow it's a little easier when you know that you're not having to engage the energy all at the same time, or feel like you're really on a stage. And somehow I've gone past that, but I'm pretty sure that the stage element will become bigger for me as time goes by, like the real stage. But all of that, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm not the kind of person to do that, because I'm not. But I've learned that me being authentic actually really draws people. So you can see my imperfection. You can see that I'm on a growth curve too. I've got tons to learn about things. I'm still deschooling. You know, all the things that I share about are the things I'm still learning. And people connect with authenticity. They don't connect with,
exactly.
oh, look, she's perfect. They just, yeah, that's an unrealistic expectation. I know I'm not going to be. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of sort of cool with it, mostly. So you were sharing a little bit about what you've learned about your kids and about yourself, your values. And today, let's get into the time management discussion right now. What do you share with homeschool moms or parents about how to manage
That's a really
time?
big, juicy topic, yes. Because I think it's not just for homeschool moms. I think it's for people in general, because everybody feels very pressurized with their time and like they don't have time and things like that. So I think what we spoke about before, the values, I think it's really knowing very explicitly what your values are is a really good starting point, I think, to decide how you're going to spend your time, because it's very easy to fill your day with things that don't serve you, that only serve other people, that make you feel resentful, that drain your energy, that don't give you anything in return. So, I mean, that's a really, really good starting point, I think, when it comes to time management, because like I said, then you can select the things that are going to really align what's important with you. I think that's definitely step one. And then in terms of homeschooling, I know you speak about it a lot. Deschooling is like super important, I think, also. And it's also kind of linked to time management, because you kind of figure out what works, you figure out how your kids learn, you figure out how you're going to start fitting everything in the day without too much pressure. You know, you kind of use that time as an adjustment period. And I think that's also a really good start in terms of time management, because you can say, okay, the curriculum, we've spent a year or whatever deschooling, this is a curriculum, for example, that's really going to work, or this is a program that's really going to work. So there's not going to be resistance, so we're not going to be wasting time with kids that don't want to do things and stuff like that. So I think, deschooling is a big one.
Exactly. And I've noticed too that I've wasted time, especially with my oldest too, but mostly my oldest, because she was always like, I'll just do it myself. Don't tell me how to do it. Whereas my second one was, tell me how to do it. And they're exactly opposite. But my first was like, I don't want to be told how to do it. So just let me do my thing. But I felt this real need to, but we have things we have to do. And this is really important. And I have this one moment where I remember engaging her in a 3-point essay and saying, okay, this is how we develop an essay. And I don't remember what the topic was, but I let her choose it. But we're still going to like, okay, sit down and write down this or create this essay, and spent a lot of time doing that. And it was like push pull constantly, like, come on, let's just sit. Okay, how long are we going to be sitting here for? Let's just do this. And it didn't engage her, interest in what we were doing. And when she finally finished, or I finally let go, then she went upstairs to write a story. And I was like, wow, that was such a waste of time. It was so unnecessary in that moment for me to push this thing, and then realize she had her own penchant, her own flavor of learning how to do written communication. And it's not to say that I don't think there's ever a time to have a conversation with a child to do something they don't want to do. And sometimes you're actually not really battling the discussion about the 3-point essay. You're actually really having a conversation about the conflict that you're having, or the disagreement, or the energy that's happening between you two. But for me, I realized deschooling really helps me to let go of, frankly, wasted time moments.
Absolutely,
Trying to learn it.
yes, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, sure. And then in terms of time management,
Yeah.
something else that also can be hard to do, but it is very, very useful and very important, is boundaries as well. And I know you also speak about boundaries, but it's like setting boundaries around your time is vital in terms of time management, because it's also like things bleed into each other. You don't get to concentrate, or people are interrupting you when you're trying to do things. And yeah, so that is definitely a big step. Not easy, because it takes a lot of like inner work to be able to set a boundary. But that's homeschooling there, right? I mean, homeschooling,
So
having a business, all those kind of things, you are facing all those inner things. That's for sure. Sure.
Especially as a working homeschool mom, like what you're honoring the home, or you're supporting the working homeschool mom community. And and in that way, the interruptions, like how do you engage a discussion on interruptions?
Sure. Yeah, but I think also, so it's also very well, like if we talk about setting boundaries, but it's the boundary process is quite a long process, I guess, because first you need to see what that boundary actually looks like explicitly. Again, like I said, like you would, it's always better to be aware and to be explicit about these kind of things. So what does that look like? So for the example I always use is like, okay, my homeschooling time is like, I don't know, 9 till 12. And within that time, people phone me all the time. Okay, so when people phone me, that is a boundary that's being crossed. So you say, okay, please don't phone me within this time. I'm spending time with the kids, and that is the boundary, and it's set. And you can also kind of practice saying, please don't phone me. If it's something really hard, practice saying, what you would say if that boundary gets crossed. And then you just have to stick to it as well. And I think that's really hard, because you're like, okay, I'm just going to take this one call, and then they're like, okay, so she's not really serious about that boundary. So it's like really also being strict with setting that boundary as well, and making sure that people know that it's an actual true boundary.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, for me, it has been more a development of my internal space, and asking myself, not just we're not just saying no to things, but we're also saying yes to ourselves, and asking ourselves, okay, what really matters, and who am I? So if I remember this a long time ago, when somebody had asked me to be part of a kids program and teaching a kids program, I must have been 19 or 20, and they were 5 or 6 years of age. And I was like, okay, well, somebody wants me to do something. So check, I'll do it. And I'm not doing anything else at that time, so why not? And then I quickly discovered I was talking over their heads, because it's kind of, I was not on a 5 or 6 year old level. I was 19 or 20. So I didn't know how to engage them anyway, but I really didn't like it. I'm like, y'all just sit down now. I got something to say, and we'll have like this big meta discussion about this thing, even though you're 5. And it wasn't me. It didn't fit me, but I didn't want to disappoint. But I've come to understand now, it was hilarious that I was trying to fit myself into a box that just really didn't fit me. So the more that I know myself, in a way, I'm honoring, I guess you could say, like the person that I'm supposed to be here, as I continue to get to know myself. And then I can show up intentionally where I really do belong, and then don't show up in other places. Like curriculum. I can't make curriculum. People have asked me, are you going to create a planner? Are you going to create a thing about curriculum related stuff? I'm like, no, because I don't care. Like the curriculum never matters in my mind anyway. There's so much lovely curriculum out there, but it just is not my thing. So you won't be making curriculum for kids. You'll find me making, resources for moms, but not for the kids.
Yes, that's actually That's
Beautiful. So
interesting as well, because I also thought, okay, as a homeschool blogger, I should be making resources. And I was like, this is really awful. I hate this. And so I
yeah,
just, yeah, I mean, you got to
don't do
stay in your
that.
zone of genius, right? Is the thing.
Yeah. So tell me what is your zone of genius? Thank you for softball, like throwing that to me there. I was going
Well,
to
I
ask
mean,
you
I think
anyway.
I'm a teacher at heart. I think that's the thing. I mean, I come
Yeah.
from a line of teachers, and even though tried to deny it for many, many, many years, I think, it's always been in my blood, I think, to be a teacher. And I just like to help and support people in that way. And I think that's why coaching is also something that I really, really, really enjoy, because I want to help people
Yeah.
figure things out. I'm like, we can do this. It's possible. Come on. I know we can. To be
Yeah.
supportive and just to give people
Perfect.
confidence. And
Yeah.
and I do that because, I teach English as well. Like if people have like job interviews and things like that, I'm like, just sometimes people just need support and encouragement. They don't, and I think that's something that I really, really enjoy, is that kind of thing, to support and to encourage and to help people as well. I think that would definitely be, and not to make curriculum, like I said, not to make
Not,
like principles and stuff. That's hard for
no,
me. Mm.
me neither. Y'all, anybody
Yes,
watching that's doing that,
exactly.
bring it. People want it 100%.
Yeah.
Just not our thing. And, I actually met you because I saw you in
Mm.
a conference in January, and you're talking about time management in that thing, that
Mm.
conference or summit, online summit. And I was like, oh yes, I really connect on a value base with you. And I'm like, oh, she's really good at presenting things very succinctly. And here's a good
Oh,
idea. And
thanks. I
yeah, so
appreciate
I
that.
see that
Mm.
too. So that's, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, really beautiful. It's always actually, the thing I asked each of the moms this last couple of weeks in this live series for homeschool, or for Mother's Day for homeschool moms, is to, share with me what your, I think I said, what your reason for being worthy of being celebrated. And I know. And then I realized, oh, wow, that was really like heavy words, because everybody's like, no, don't make me say it out loud.
Mm.
But my intention wasn't to make people go, ooh, whoa, too much. But it was more, every
Mm.
single one of us, whoever's watching, whoever will watch this, every homeschool mom has
Mm.
something unique to bring to their homeschools. And I really
Mm.
want
Mm.
to
Mm.
celebrate that. So, if you don't already know what your talent is or what your edge
Mm.
is, like that positive edge of who you are and what you bring to the world,
Mm.
then explore
Mm.
that, get to know that, because I believe
Mm.
everyone is here for a reason. And specifically in our homeschools, we're here given these kids that also have their own, lovely things about them. If you bring that together, then you're really able to enable a child's education and a raising up of
Mm.
another human in your homeschool in a really
Mm.
wonderful
Mm.
way,
Mm. Mm.
uniquely to you.
Mm. Sure. So you had to make me say that
So
was unique.
I was gonna say, should
I
I
did
ask
think
you?
about it. I did think about it. Sure.
Own it,
But I think
girlfriend.
it is, but it's just that, it's just the uniqueness, I think, though, isn't it? Because I mean, that
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
what we have to bring this world, I guess, is the uniqueness, and obviously, hopefully raising decent human beings and things like that, which is really, really important. And then what I really like that you say, homeschooling is not just the kids. So it's this, because we are going to eventually stop homeschooling, right? Which I love that you said that we can't just freeze
Yeah,
ourselves,
because
exactly,
I'm on
and
that end.
just give
Yeah,
everything to our kids during that time. I mean, there's so much development that can happen, and it's a great place to do that as well. So I think that is so important about homeschooling as well. And I think, yeah, like I said, if I have to say it is uncomfortable, I think just the uniqueness that I have in this world, in whatever way that looks. Yeah. No, I can't. It's
yeah. So you're not
hard.
gonna say it, are you? Sorry. Okay. I will not force that. You should know, everybody that knows me, I don't usually put people on the spot, but I think it's easier for me to put Charlotte on the spot because I think she's so lovely and true, so genuine. Yeah.
Mm.
And also I see that, like that teaching angle, I see that you're naturally clear like that. In the beginning, when I started podcasting, I was like, whoa, talk about going on and on and on. I could just keep going. I still
No,
can. I probably
no,
just
but
did.
I think, but the thing is that you have is you're so natural though, which is so lovely, and that's what I loved when we did the interview together. It's just so beautifully conversational and natural, and I think that's really, really lovely. Because I usually have a script because I'm so nervous that I'm going to make a mistake. Is that a perfectionism?
I do make a mistake. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Live like this, I'm so much more comfortable. If I go to my closet, and because my closet is Studio C for podcasting, then I want to delete a lot of what I say. In the beginning, I was even recognizing, like when you edit your own stuff right off the top, you discover all sorts of things about yourself, which is useful and also very humbling. And also that I have a lisp. Okay, all right. So in the beginning, I was a little bit lisp, but in the beginning, I would delete every single and every single. And now I'm not doing that much editing. That's good. Yeah, like that perfectionism thing. Turns out, and nobody's relating to perfect.
That's true.
Not a thing.
It's true. That's very, very true.
And I also don't show up as completely or authentically if I really am trying to be something. In the very beginning, it was my 10-year-old daughter. My third daughter, who's graduating this year, has a YouTube channel, and she's deleted all sorts of videos now, but she had one that had 50 or 60,000 views. And she is right from the get-go, she could just show up on camera and go, hi, hi, I'm here to share with you makeup techniques or whatever. I was not that person. I was like, okay, hello, my name is Teresa. You can still see this in the early days. I was so uncomfortable. And now I'm just like, whatever, hi. Now, bring me into a room of a few thousand people, I might not be quite that comfortable. But enough about me. I wanted to ask you, tell me about your Mother's Day. Okay, first of all, I'm assuming we're celebrating Mother's Day on the same time here.
Exactly.
Next Sunday. Yeah. So what is your intention for Mother's Day? Excuse me. Or what is your tradition typically?
I have to be honest. So I make breakfast in bed, please. And I want gifts, and I want flowers, and I want, to be treated like a princess, to be honest. Yeah. My husband, no, for sure. My husband makes a very nice eggs Benedict, so I like to have that. My favorite.
Too.
Definitely. The Mother's Day.
Me too. That's my favorite. And is the kitchen clean by you or the kids?
I've told you my saga with cleaning. That I adore my family very much, but they are not tidy people at all. Yeah.
Yeah. You wrote a letter to my email community, Happy Mother's Day email that will find them in their inboxes on Mother's Day morning. And one of the things is, tell me about your macaroni necklace. I want to hear what, your kids. And then when, the cold toast and jam that they brought you in bed. And then you get to stay in there until you finish your food and they disappear. And then you get to sneak into the kitchen to discover what happened in here. You brought me toast.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. No, I just close my eyes to the kitchen. That's the thing. I'm like, no, it's not a Mother's Day thing to worry about. Absolutely not.
Yes. So is there, are you going to go on a hike or go to the lagoon, or do you have
it's also plans? Obviously for my mom, and my mom, we live very close to each other, so we'll probably pop over that side as well. She lives just 500 meters down the road. So it'll be, I guess it'll be kind of a family thing. We should drink some bubbles and, have a or something nice like that. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. So is there, even though you probably maybe you aren't doing this, but what would be the gift that you would give yourself for Mother's Day, even though macaroni necklaces are probably happening?
I think time is absolutely the best gift. Really. Yeah. No, really it is, because it's, like I said, time management is my jam, and definitely it's something that we all feel like maybe we don't have enough of. But I think, making that appointment with yourself, taking yourself out, going somewhere on your own. I try to do that very regularly. It's super, super important. I think it's absolutely the best gift. Just and because it's space as well, though, isn't it? It's mental space that you also can have.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's beautiful. I hope
Mm,
it's a truly
mm.
happy Mother's Day for you. Not coincidentally, I can read behind your
Yes.
head there
Oh, is it
backwards
backwards?
because I'm
Okay.
so accustomed to reading stuff.
Yes.
Make today count.
Yes, absolutely. But what
Exactly.
are you
Yeah,
doing for
exactly.
Mother's Day? Also, very importantly. Uh-huh.
Usually a tea. Thank you for asking. Usually
All
an
right.
afternoon tea in the garden, which I have not planted yet. So my intention is to go to the greenhouse and put some things inside the empty sad pots that are sitting on my patio. Maybe plant some beans, something like that.
Mm.
And yeah, low key like you, but I'm hoping someone's making me
Yes,
food and
yes,
I don't clean a
exactly.
thing.
That's the thing, right? Yeah, not the
Yeah,
food. No
yeah.
cleaning and spoils, please. Lots of spoils.
Eh,
Mm.
yes, absolutely. Yep, chocolate. For me, there is a specific kind of chocolate that someone makes locally. It's a caramel chocolate
Ooh.
tart that
Ooh.
I'm like, yeah, is Mother's Day really Mother's Day without that
Wow. But is
caramel
it like
chocolate tart?
thickly caramelly, like in a, ooh, yum.
In a chocolate, like a
Oh,
round chocolate tart it's
that sounds
yeah, it's my
amazing.
favorite. Yeah,
Uh, uh.
yeah, it does. So, is there any other last words of encouragement that you'd like
Oh,
to share with
absolutely. I
moms before
think
Mother's
just
Day?
at the end of the day, just be kind to yourself, moms. Really, you're doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
It can be a tough job, can be frustrating, can be overwhelming.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be perfect. I think it's really important to just be kind to yourself and to also to prioritize yourself. I mean, I know it's not always easy, but even if you start like really, really small, 5 minutes a day, whatever, just to really get into the habit of prioritizing yourself and self-care. It's so important. I know it sounds cliche, but it is, like you said before, sometimes the cliches are there for a reason. It's because it's super important.
Yeah, I'm so with you there. Obviously, Homeschool Mama
Exactly.
Self-Care is the name of my
Mm,
account, and it's there for a reason. And I've had to address a different S question
mm,
forever now that I started this account the last few years.
mm,
Is self-care selfish? And you can learn more about that on Clubhouse
mm,
because I'm over on Clubhouse and addressed that last week. And the answer, I truly would, you couldn't convince me
no,
otherwise. Of
no.
course, it's not selfish because unless you're a superhuman or some sort of
Mm,
god figure that has no needs, but we're as human and as in need in a different way
mm,
than all the people in our home. And if we are to be nurturing our little ones, we
mm,
have to be able to
mm,
nurture ourselves first
mm.
and know that first.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and one of the things y'all can do, by the way, I have a macaroni necklace for you. Not really, but I have a giveaway that you can enter, and it
Mm-hmm.
has all sorts of goodies in there, resources designed for homeschool moms. Not one of it, maybe you could consider one of the things a piece of curriculum because it's a storybook from Sarah
Mm-hmm.
at Read Aloud Revival. She sent me a copy of her book and signed it, and it's so beautiful. And also, I don't have little kids anymore, so then I thought, well, I'm going to share that with the world. And but otherwise, the resource is
Mm-hmm.
designed for you. So please enter the giveaway before Sunday, and on Sunday I will let whoever knows one that they have
Mm-hmm.
received this gift. And to all the homeschool
Yeah.
moms out there, happy Mother's Day. I see you.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you do too, that we just see how much you do
Mm,
and take a little
mm.
time for yourself.
Absolutely. Yes. Beautiful. Those are really, really
Yeah.
important things to do.
Thank
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you so
Just
much for
love,
being
always
here,
a
Charlotte. I really
pleasure.
appreciate you. I'm so
No,
glad
it's always
for
a
your
pleasure to chat
flexibility.
to you, Teresa. Always.
Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
yeah. Thank you so much,
Yes.
everybody. I hope you have a lovely
Bye-bye.
Mother's Day. We'll talk
Bye.
to you soon,
Bye.
Charlotte.